Have you ever wondered who are the best crime thriller authors out there, both old and new? Hi there, my name is Brian Collins and welcome to the Become a Writer Today channel. Crime thriller fiction is something that sells enormously around the world. It's incredibly popular with readers. But if you want to get into this genre, where should you start? Well, I'm going to profile some of the best crime thriller author books, both dead, alive and working today. Hope you enjoy the content in this video. If you do, hit thumbs up, and if you want to get more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. No roundup of the best crime thriller authors would be complete without mentioning Agatha Christie. She was born in 1890 in Devon in the United Kingdom, and she died in 1976. I couldn't quite believe that she wrote over 100 books, novels and plays, including Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile and Crooked House. And she's sold an astonishing 1 billion plus copies of her books. Now, Agatha Christie is best known for her 66 detective novels or crime fiction and her short story collections. But her play, The Mousetrap, is actually the world's longest running play. It opened in the West End in London in 1952. It's still running today, apart from a short break during the pandemic restrictions in 2020, demonstrating the power of a huge back catalogue. Now, Agatha Christie didn't actually want to be a crime thriller writer when she started. In fact, it was only when she got influenza as a teenager that her mother prompted her to start writing to pass away the time. So she started writing short stories and poetry, and then later she graduated to crime thriller fiction. Now, she worked out a lot of the plots for her crime thriller books in notebooks. She didn't always know who the murderer was at first, but she used to work out how the plot would work in one of her famous notebooks. And then she would dictate the story or the book and then send the results or the voice recording to a secretary who would transcribe it. That entire process would take her a couple of months and then plus 1 month for revision. And of course, she wrote prolifically right up until her death in 1976. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was born in Edinburgh in 1859 and he died in 1930. And he wrote dozens of detective books, fiction, short stories and novels. But did you know he didn't actually want to be a detective fiction writer when he started off? In fact, he went to college to train to be a doctor. And it was while training to be a doctor that he got an opportunity to work on a sailing boat as a ship's doctor. And he worked on a whaling boat that went to the Arctic Circle, and he found the whole process of whaling horrifying, and he later used many anecdotes and stories for his fiction. He also had the opportunity to work on a ship's doctor on a boat that went around Africa and back to England. Then later on, he set up his medical practice. Now, of course, all the while he was working on his short stories and fiction. And he wrote A Study in Scarlet in 1886, and that introduced the world to Sherlock Holmes and his assistant Watson. The book was a success, but Sherlock Holmes and Watson actually became more popular in the United States than the United Kingdom at first, and so did Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Of course, later during his career, Sherlock Holmes was serialized, and he went on to write dozens of other popular books and novels. Now, before his death in 1930, he said that he wanted to be remembered as a champion of spiritualism and as a historical novelist. And I guess we do remember him as a novelist, but perhaps best so for his works and his creation, Sherlock Holmes. Next up, we have David Baldacci. He describes himself as a lifelong Virginian, and he's somebody who always wanted to be a writer. He started writing fiction and short stories when he was a child. Now, like somebody else on this list, he did have another career before he became a full-time crime thriller author. He was actually an attorney, but his first novel was published in 1996 and it became a huge success. That novel, Absolute Power, was also turned into a fantastic film starring Clint Eastwood. David Baldacci is best known for being able to write a series that readers love. For example, the John Puller series, the Will Roby series and the Atlee Pine series are all bestsellers. But he's no stranger to tackling different genres. His literary novel, Wish You Well, was a critical success, and his holiday story, Christmas Train, was also a bestseller. About his writing process, he says that he doesn't work with ghost writers like other successful crime thriller authors who I won't mention in this section. And he also says that he likes to write in long bursts without keeping track of his word count or how many pages he's produced. Then he'll go on a long walk or on a bike ride and think about or reflect on the day's work before turning back up to continue working on his latest book. Gillian Flynn was born in 1971 in Missouri. She worked as a television critic for Entertainment Weekly, and she was also a showrunner for the television show Utopia. She's written 3 novels and 1 short story to date. So her first crime thriller novel was Sharp Objects, and that won 2 Crime Writers Association Dagger Awards. These are basically awards for emerging talent. She then went on to write Dark Places before penning Gone Girl. And of course, Gone Girl became a huge success, both as a book and later as a film in 2014, directed by David Fincher. In fact, the David Fincher film grossed over $369 million worldwide. Now, when I was researching Gillian Flynn's writing process, she described how she's constantly stunned by people who say they want to be a screenwriter, and then when you ask them what they're into, they don't have an answer. She says it's key to understand a movie that you're watching or a film that you're reading, and you need to think about why something is working or not working. So I guess it's been nearly 6 or 7 years since Gillian Flynn released her last book, so it'll be exciting to see what she does next and if she can capitalize on the success of Gone Girl. Stephen King was born in 1947. He is, of course, one of the world's most favourite and popular authors. He's tackled a variety of genres, including horror, mystery, and of course, crime thrillers. To be honest, there's a huge amount of Stephen King books you could pick from. Perhaps some of his most popular crime thriller books are ones that he's written more recently. I'm talking about the Detective Bill Hodges trilogy or Detective Bill Hodges series. That comprises 3 books. So you have Mr. Mercedes, you've got Finders Keepers, and End of Watch. And Mr. Mercedes and End of Watch both won Goodreads Choice Awards for Best Crime Thriller Books. And Mr. Mercedes was also turned into a 3-season crime drama that starred Brendan Gleeson, and it went on to be a big success before the show was eventually discontinued. If you're interested in learning more about what Stephen King is up to and what crime thriller books he's writing next, he's also prolific on Twitter, where he'll sometimes share artwork, concepts, and news about his latest books and television shows. In fact, recently he shared an image created by an AI bot about Pennywise on a bike, and of course it has been turned into a 2-part film which you can get on Netflix. Dan Brown is another popular crime thriller author. He was born in 1964, and he's perhaps best known for the Robert Langdon series, which comprises books like Angels and Demons and The Da Vinci Code, which were turned into films of the same name, starring Tom Hanks. Several years ago, I went to the Dublin Web Summit. It's basically a tech summit, and oddly enough, they invited Dan Brown along as a guest speaker. I'm not quite sure why he was speaking at a tech summit about his crime thriller books, but he was asked about his writing process, and he described to the audience how he likes to get up at 4 a.m. to work on his crime thriller books. In fact, he'd done just that on the morning of the summit. He'd put in a couple of hours writing or a couple of hours of creative work before attending to speak. And he also described how when he's stuck on a particularly troublesome plot point for one of his crime thriller books, he'll put on a pair of gravity boots and hang from the ceiling. Stieg Larsson is a Swedish crime thriller author who was born in 1954. Sadly, he passed away when he was 50 in 2004. Now, he worked during his career as a journalist, and he wrote his crime thriller books on the side. He's best known for the Millennium Trilogy of crime thriller books. So the first one of those books is one you've undoubtedly heard of, The Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. It wasn't published until after his death, so he didn't live to see it become a critical or commercial success. It was published in 2005 before being published in English in 2008, and then it became an instant classic. They created a film of it in Sweden in, I think it was 2009, before David Fincher turned his hand to it in 2011, starring Daniel Craig. Personally, I thought the 2011 film was okay, but I preferred David Fincher's other crime thriller adaptation, that of Gone Girl. The crime thriller author Michael Connelly was born in Philadelphia in 1956, and he moved to Florida when he was a child. So after college, he started working as a crime reporter, and he covered the cocaine wars in Florida. That provided a lot of fuel and source material for his writing career. He's actually written over 37 novels, 37 different types of books, including his crime thriller fiction series. And he sold 800 million copies worldwide. Of course, he's best known for the Bosch series, which was also turned into multiple TV series shows for Amazon Prime, and also The Lincoln Lawyer. Dean Koontz was born in 1945 in Pennsylvania. When he went to college, he won a short story competition. And from there, he was hooked. He knew he wanted to earn a full-time living as an author. And he's become a prolific author since then. He's actually written over 105 books, which is an astonishing amount. They've been translated into 38 languages, and he sold 500 million copies worldwide. He's of course best known for his series of books, including Moonlight Bay and Odd Thomas. Hope you enjoyed this roundup of the best crime thriller authors working today, or at least crime thriller authors whose books you can buy. If you want to find an even more detailed list of the best crime thriller authors out there, because believe me, there are a lot, I'm going to include a link below this video which will take you to an article that provides even more recommendations for your reading list. And if you want to get more videos like this, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel.